And the floor is yours, Wansi.
All right, good morning, everybody. Happy last 2 days of 2024, and I hope in these last 2 days you still have some very nice things happening to you. I just want to check, can you hear me well and see me well? I think just now I was a bit blurred. Am I still blurred?
You were slightly blurred, but then now it's clear.
Okay, thank you for all the thumbs up. This is cool. Okay, it's nice to know people who give responses. Later, because I think most of you didn't show your video. If you feel comfortable, please show me who you are so I know. If you don't feel comfortable, then as I speak, if you want to give me any reactions, please give me reactions so it gives me encouragement that to go on. All right, and right now let me share my screen. To share a tab or screen instead. Okay, so I will share a let me
We can
check.
see the screen clearly. The rest?
Can you hear the sound?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So my name is Wan Xin. Like what Doria said, I used to spend 12 years in the corporate life. I just left my job in March to do a startup for real full time since March this year. So it's still a very new journey to me. And I always think about, back at student age, right? Because entrepreneurship is the last thing on my mind. When I was a student, I still remember I was organizing a conference and it was about entrepreneurship for youth. And in my mind, I'm like, what is entrepreneurship? Why should we even think about entrepreneurship? I didn't understand that until later when I keep thinking, what do I really want to do in my life? And I felt like my hands are tied. Um, at 30 something years old, I feel like there are so many things that I want to do, but I cannot because of my role in the company. I should fulfill a certain role and not just everything and anything that I want to do, which is eventually why I step out and make something happen. I'll share more with you later. But when I was a student, I really knew very little about entrepreneurship, even though I have attended a business I've helped organize a conference about entrepreneurship, and I've even entered like a business plan competition. Do you all have business plan competition in your university? I see Doria nodding. Yeah. So Doria, if you are comfortable, you can stay unmuted so we can have a chit chat about it.
Okay, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking, for y'all who are studying student development, what can y'all do more to help students to think about entrepreneurship? And how do y'all plant the seeds so that later it flowers? I recently worked with 22, 23-year-old students from another local university, and they were helping me to develop my application. So later I'll invite you all to use the application if you all like it. It was being done by one 22-year-old and one 23-year-old student in 7 days. Actually, in the first 72 hours, they came out with the first prototype of how the application will look like, and in 7 days, the application went live. And they were entrepreneurs, and they are starting out because they want to. They believe that entrepreneurship helped them to learn a lot of things in life instead of just doing one role. I was like, wow, this is amazing. How do they think about this when they were so young? So yeah, back to y'all. How do y'all do this? And I hope to really read, what y'all think about student development. So thank you, Dora, for inviting me back to the session. It always gives me a lot of joy to speak to young people. And I'm happy to spend the next 45 to 50 minutes with you. And I have a goal. My goal is at the end of the session, you can tell me that you took away something that's useful for your next job, interview, or just for yourself. So another thing to say is I'm very comfortable with interruption. So if you have any question, feel free to raise your hand. And if I cannot see your hand, Dora will tell me that somebody has raised your hand, and then we can take your question. Yes. So let's get started with the session. So before I talk about my corporate life, I wanted to share with you. Dora asked me to share what is my passion. So I want to share with you 3 passions that I do in life. So this is one of them. Can you still hear me with the music?
Yes.
So we organize diving for the people with disability. So you see the lady just now, she's already like 30 kg.
One thing we're losing you a bit in terms of voice. Probably can louder, slightly louder.
All right. Then I'll stop talking.
We didn't manage to hear anything. Is there a YouTube version of this that we that the students can refer to properly?
Cannot hear, is it?
Cannot hear.
I see. Okay, okay. Give me a second. There is a YouTube version I can share, but
Okay.
because I have a lot more video later, so I want to make, share this properly. I think it says that I should to share audio, share a tab or a screen instead. So I should share the entire screen. I think this is also share system audio. Can we try again?
Yes. Let's see.
All right. So let's try.
Yep.
Can you still hear me? Can you
Soft.
still?
Very soft.
Okay.
Very soft.
We want twofold. One is to provide an opportunity for PWDs to experience diving. To come to an island is really difficult. The jetty is not PWD friendly. The beach sinks wheelchair. So basically, PWDs need a lot of volunteers to help them to go through these obstacles to experience scuba diving. The second purpose is to remind society and PWDs. It is sometimes it's not the people who are disabled, but it is a society that's disabled. It's about the public perception of what PWDs can do and cannot do. It is about the facilities that's not PWD friendly, which is why it's important to remember that to ensure that these facilities must be made accessible by all PWDs so that everybody has an equal chance to enjoy life and an equal chance to succeed.
All right, I'll pause here. So this was a diving event that we organized with a lot of volunteers. Some are professional instructors so that we can help people with disability to experience diving. Why diving? Because on land, we are all affected by gravity, and that's when you are confined to a wheelchair. But in water, you are free as long as we teach you basic skills. Then you can basically move yourself with however much ability you have. And we want people to know that there are more ability in us. Everybody has this ability, right? And everybody, so some we are disabled by emotions, some of us are disabled but I don't know a certain knowledge. In that sense, I am disabled to understand certain things, but we also have a lot more abilities than disability, and that's what I learned from organizing this program, that we all have, like, we need to look at the what we are able to do and not just what we are not able to do. And that's what I learned from them. And we taught them, so 2 things we taught them. Other than diving, we also taught them swimming, because then once they are comfortable in water, so you don't need to learn how to swim in order to dive. But if you know how to swim, you feel a lot more comfortable in water and you're able to enjoy the water a lot more. So we actually spent 3 months training everybody to learn how to swim before we brought them to the island to dive. And then once they're in island and they can swim freely, and then we also, so this tax that we ask them to tie is also a contribution back to the sea. So it's actually an underwater structure that it is still available in Redang Island, right in front of Redang Pelangi Resort. If you go and dive, you will if you ask the dive center, they will bring you there. Basically, the steel structure is a very good place for corals to grow because it has the right nutrients. So we also want them to be able, we also want to create an opportunity where this Pikachu, he's actually blind. And he taught me, because they'll have a question, how do blind people dive? What is in it for them? Because you cannot see, right? Like a lot of people think that you're there to see the fishes, but he taught me how to hear the fishes. And once you hear the fishes, you can never unhear the fishes. So once you go to a sea with a lot of fishes, they will actually be chirping beside you. And it's very different if you are in a swimming pool, you just cannot hear the fishes. So it's very amazing. Yeah, so we taught them how to relax. So these are all the training sessions. And once they're in the sea, we try to let them be and try to let them, we just stay very far from them, not very far, very near them, but we don't touch them so that they can feel like finally they are free to move around themselves. And these are a lot of professionals that we work with to teach, to run this event. So that's one that this is one of my passion. How many of you dive here? Dora, do you dive?
No, neither swim nor dive, unfortunately.
Sorry, say it again.
Neither swim nor dive. But Li Qin, thumbs up. I assume you dive or swim. No, I don't swim or dive. Li Qin, do you dive?
Oh, yes, I have that.
Nice. Okay, have you dived in Malaysia?
Oh, yeah, in Malaysia, the first
Where did
time.
you go? Which island did you go?
Uh, how to say?
Do you remember?
Sembina. I don't know how to say.
Oh, okay. Is it Redang? Okay, I cannot hear you, but no worries.
I type it in the chat box.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you very clearly.
I type it in the chat box.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay. Okay.
Nice. Yes, there's a chat, yeah?
Yeah. At the bottom, your
Yes.
right hand side. Yeah.
Yep, I'm on it. Okay, cool. So that's one of my passion. I look forward to see which island Lichin go. So this is the second passion of mine. I care a lot about zero waste. So it's about how do we live our life fully without causing a lot of waste in the world. So I used to use an example about a makeup cosmetic, like your blusher. Oh, Sampurna, I have a picture about Sampurna later. So I used to use our the blusher that we use for makeup, right? So in order to use that powder, the powder needs to be put into a container, and the container needs to be put into a plastic container to cover it, and then the plastic container has to be put into a paper box to be sold. And then when I go to the shop and I want to buy that blusher, they have to put it into a paper carrier for me to take away. So there's a lot of packaging just for the powder that I want to put on my face. So these are the things that the Zero Waste Malaysia group talk about. Can we live more with less? Can we live with less packaging? Can we reduce our need and maybe feel more free and live a life that's fuller? Because we depend a lot less on material and we care a lot more about quality of life. So this is the first Zero Waste Malaysia Festival, and I happen to be able to MC the event. Yeah, so this is another passion of mine. And the last one, and it's the same place as where Lichin went. So Sampurna, this is Sipadan. I don't know whether Lichin went to Sipadan during your dive. This is the park. This is Barracuda. Yeah. So there were just a lot of fish in the sea. And these are Barracuda vortex. A lot of people go to Sipadan to experience like this tornado of fishes. So now that I've talked about my passion, let's talk about what I do for real. So I told you that I spent 12 years as a corporate in a corporate, and what I did is I made employees better employees. So I worked for the Singapore government, the UK government, and then I did in private sector. So this is insurance. This is Japanese consulting firm, and I don't know how many of you have booked with Agoda before. I know Doria, you have.
Yesterday,
Where are you booking a?
it's a trip to UTM KL. So work trip, hotel accommodation.
Nice. Okay, thank you for paying my salary. It's true, you all paid our salary. And you funded my startup right now because I am using my savings to run my startup. So thank you for transacting. Yeah. So what I mean by I make employees better employees, right, is basically I look at the a lot of people think that this is a training job. So pretty much like what Doria is doing, educating the next generation. My setting is in the corporate setting, so I make employees better employees. I look at how do we make them more motivated, more engaged, more aligned, more able to contribute to the company vision. So I work a lot with the CEOs, and I look at what do you want to be in 5 years time, and then I look at the people. What do the people need in order to reach that 5 year vision for the company? Is it the skills that they don't have? So when I was working with AXA, for example, then we look at, we want insurance. That was how many? That was 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, insurance are not very customer centric. So when we say insurance, say that, we are here to protect you in times of need. But in times of need, when you submit like a claim, so for example, if you travel and you lost your baggage or your phone got stolen, so when you file a claim, do we really come in and protect you and say, I'm so sorry, you lost your phone, you had an accident. Let me see what we can do to support you to go through this period of difficulty. So 10 years ago, a lot of people in the company, they didn't think of that. They think, if I pay you a claim, it means I'm losing money for the company. So then I should try to protect the company instead of protecting the customer. So we try to look at what is causing the people to have this mindset, and then what do we need to do in order to help them to be there for the customer. So what we did is, okay, so for sure, maybe it is the mindset. It is talking about what does it mean to be customer centric. But on top of it is also the system. So 10 years ago, the CEO have to sign a check for every claim that we pay. So when Doria, you submit a claim to any insurance company, the check, before we pass you the money, it goes to the CEO to sign. They will approve to pay this customer. And then right now, what we did is we changed the process to we have to um, let the CEO sign for every claim that we did not pay.
Okay. Accountability. I mean, yeah.
Living
No?
up to the promise, right? We are there to protect you, and we should explain why we are not able to protect the customer that we decide not to protect. Yeah. So by right, we should protect. It's only at cases where we think that this case is not protectable, then we let we have to get permission from the CEO. So that's a whole change of mindset. And that is very important. It's not just skills. Because even if I have all the skill, but if I'm in a company that my skills are limited by the process, then it will still stop me from being able to do what I can do. So I help them to be able to do it. I help them to have the skills, to have the knowledge, and also to have the right environment for them to display the skills. And sometimes it is the SOP, sometimes it is the KPI, like key performance indicator. So if I am being measured, so I talk about Agoda. So if I am measured, so we have I was working with the customer support staff, and there are 3,000 customer support staff in Agoda. So if we are being measured by the speed of how fast we handle a customer, what will it make the customer think? What will it make the staff think? I should put down. I should put down and end every conversation very quickly, because the longer I support a customer, the lower my performance is. In that case, then I will make sure I put down the phone, or I write a very short email, or I write very short chat messages with my customer, and I keep saying, okay, that's it. Is there anything I can assist you with? Oh, no, bye. And that may not be the best for the customer. So then we look at average call time or average handle, we call it handle time, handling a customer, average handling time per issue. If it's a simple issue, for example, I book a hotel, but I put in a wrong name, then it is a very simple issue. We should handle it within 2 minutes. Then the customer can finish off and go on with the life instead of having to spend like 10 minutes chatting with the customer, with the staff. But if it's a very difficult issue, for example, volcano eruption, all flights are cancelled, then we need to be able to support you to refund your hotel because you cannot travel to Bali to use your hotel. Then there are certain terms and conditions that we need to go through in detail before we decide whether your booking can be refunded or not. Then these cases, maybe it will take up to 10 minutes. So we measure based on different cases and how long it measure, and are you in the average, or are you too fast, or are you too slow? Then that cause a different kind of behavior in the staff. So that's what I used to do in my role. And right now, so after doing this for 12 years, I had a lot of very good experiences doing from a country to Agoda was a global role, and I was supporting leaders to be better leaders. So I was not supporting the customer staff directly, but I was supporting the leaders who are supporting the staff. How can I make the leaders better leaders who are able to support the staff better, who are able to help the staff to have better performance by focusing on the right thing that matter? Because everybody have weaknesses. Like what I say just that everybody have disabilities in one way or another. But how can we help you to be at your best? In yeah. So then how can I help the leaders to help the staff to be at their best? So that's my last job. That was what my last job is about. And then I thought about it, I have a lot more dreams. I am very interested, specifically, I'm very interested to live back in small towns. So I live in big cities for the longest time. For all 12 years in my working life, I have to live in cities because my kind of job are normally in large companies and in the headquarters. So headquarters are normally in capital cities. So I have lived like in Singapore, in Doha, in Tokyo, and in KL. But I grew up in a small town, and if any of you live in small town, please type in chat and tell me which small town you came from. Even if it's outside Malaysia, I'd love to visit them. Uh, and and I hope that one day I can go back to my small town and live and still have a very good job. But that was not possible because my job is always in big companies. And before COVID, living like working remotely is not so acceptable in corporate life. So during COVID, I think one good thing that happened is that people were very able to accept remote working. And then that got me thinking, then what can I do to make this something even better? So one thing that I think I could think about is, can I help everyone to have a nice workspace beyond your office and your home? So if you live in big cities, if you work for if you work in office, you always have a nice office to work at. But if I now no longer need to go back to office, but still have a professional job, sometimes my home may not be the best for me to work, because home you have the bed, it's very tempting to go back to the bed, or you have a lot of housework. You'll be thinking, I need to clean the floor, I should cook, I should boil water, I should wash my laundry. So if you really need to focus, maybe you want to go out into a co-working office or a home, or a cafe, to put yourself in a focused time. But can you actually, is there a cafe near you that you can work from? So that's why I thought I want to bring people into different workspaces, to work by the sea, to work while you're camping, to help more people to think about this. So that is what I'm passionate about, and this is the kind of business that I'm working on. This month, actually, I just launched the Workspace Pass. So it's a pass, like a co-working pass, that allows you to go to every different cafe, co-working office to work from there. So once you go in with this pass, you can feel very comfortable that, this place, I can sit here for 4 hours. And it actually even comes with F&B like credit, so you can use it to buy food or coffee that makes you happy. So what I'm thinking of is, can we make a happy work day for you even when you are working on your own? So I also run a Facebook group because it's the only social media that has the multi-chat function, that everyone's able to talk and comment on one another. So as a group, so I run a Facebook group to talk about all these remote work topics. So why do I think about this? I also want to show you a few points about digital nomads, since I study about digital nomads, remote workers so much, right? So I want to share with you a few cases of people traveling. So I'll let you read this. I'll give you 15 seconds to read what the person say. While I take a sip of water. So he is a remote worker he is Malaysian, and he has been traveling remotely everywhere he goes. So later we will have an exercise. I would like to invite you to think about, how do we prepare students? How do we develop students to be able to have this kind of life? Constantly on the move, always relocating, almost like a nomad. So what skills does he need? And how do we develop people like him for that kind of life? I'll share with you another case. So this is a Malaysian who has been traveling around the world. Now let's look at the second case of a foreigner who is traveling in Malaysia. Let me move to, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, all right. So I'll play this video for a short while.
Julianne Sherlock mixes business with pleasure. She's from Ireland, but is now living in Malaysia. She's one of an estimated 35 million workers worldwide, known as digital nomads, who travel while working remotely over the internet. She loves learning about different cultures and sightseeing.
I decided to become a digital nomad when my youngest son went to university. I decided, well, I work online anyway, and I'd love to see more of the world.
Sherlock runs a small content creation and digital marketing agency. This 51-year-old has worked in 7 countries since 2017, including Albania and India, with stays ranging from 1 month to more than a year.
It gives me a chance to really indulge in that sense of adventure that I felt I've always had, of wanting to, to just explore and learn.
In India, with stays ranging from 1 month to more than.
All right, I'll stop here because the rest are talking about digital nomad visa, which is very interesting. So a lot of countries, including Malaysia, are offering visas to digital nomads to invite you to stay there for a long time. So in Malaysia, you can the digital nomad visa allow professionals to stay in Malaysia for up to 2 years. So you don't need to just stay as a tourist, and you can legally work in Malaysia, even if you're not working for a Malaysia company. So also think about, so the person is Juliana, right? So when she works on her own, on her laptop, what kind of skills do you need to have to work alone and still be a good employee or a good service provider or a good professional when you are traveling outside your company? So that's another thing, very similar. What are these digital nomads about? Why do they want to travel the world, and they work on laptops so they can basically go anywhere? And when they travel, the thing is, they may not have the best environment to work from. So last year, I ran this um, post asking everyone, hey, you know what? Show me a picture of where you are working from. And this is what I got, some of the pictures. So you can see that people are really working from anywhere, everywhere. And sometimes it may not be a very nice environment. Like if you look at this table, it's very low. And if you have to work on like that for like 4 hours, it may not be the most comfortable one. So people want to travel when people want to travel when they are working, but when they are working, you want a nice proper workspace to work from. So this is the problem that is making me think about what kind of solution I want to create. And these are right now the workspaces that people can go when they travel. We just started in a small area in Klang Valley called Petaling Jaya. We are expanding into KL already. And these are all the spaces where you can choose on the website. And with that pass, you can go into any one of them to work from, and you can see what kind of food they offer. There are like plug points that you can see, if you want to see green, or if you want a bigger table, if you want to look out, if you want outdoor, you want very good coffee, you can choose your own workspace. And my dream is that it is a space that it is a platform for all over Malaysia, all over the world, where when you're traveling, when Doria come to KL for business, and when you want to get out of UTM KL campus, then there's also a place where you can work from. So yeah, this is what I do right now. It's very, very tough because a lot of people don't well, there are a lot of digital nomads. There are also a lot more office workers, and it's a bit hard for people to think about what does working from cafe mean. Even when I speak to cafe staff, they'll be thinking, oh, you want to give me workers to work in the cafes. It's like, no. They are your customer. They are not your workers. They're not your employees. They're just here to, spend some time working at your cafe during your quiet hours. Because there are a lot of cafes, the hours are like, sometimes they'll be very busy. Maybe on weekends you'll be like super busy, but on weekdays they can be really quiet. Like, some cafes can be completely empty. So then can we actually put some digital nomads to work there? Okay, so enough about me. So now let's look at a few cases of remote workers. I think the case, your topic is about student development, and I think I'll be really interested to hear your thoughts about what do you think are the skills or what is important for these remote workers, and what kind of interventions can happen during student stage to develop the skills. So, Dora, is it okay if we open this up for class discussion?
Yeah,
All right.
sure.
So I go back to Zul. He while he works, he travels around. So so I start thinking about what is important for the person's life first, and then maybe we think about what skills will be important to help this person to be able to live the life that he wants. And then as a student developer, what interventions will help the person. So Dora, can I get your get help from you to co-facilitate this with me to
Yeah,
get
sure.
participation from the students?
Sure. Okay. Guys, as mentioned by Wansin just now, this is an open discussion. There's a case given by Wansin, Zul's case. So you have seen through what is presented by Wansin. So let's look at the three questions that are posed by Wansin. Number one, what's important for the person's life. Number two, what skills are involved. Number three, what interventions can we do as student affairs professionals to develop the skills? So these are very heavy questions, if I may say. If you are comfortable with answering just one question, go ahead, unmute yourself, talk about it, or you can type it in the chat function. So you can pick which question would you like to answer. So anyone would like to start off first? I personally are interested in number two. Number three, there are certain things that we can do. There are certain things that we cannot do, but number two is timeless. But yeah, you choose what you guys want to answer.
Yeah.
While waiting for the rest of you to think about the answer, probably let the instructor take start off first. Number two, one scene on skills that are involved. I think the standard working skills apply, but probably in Zul's case, the additional skill to take note of is probably be sensitive enough to understand if you're going to a certain country, what regulations do you need to follow through? Like visa, like is digital nomad an acceptable thing at the country? Is there any particular insurance that I need to prove? I remember reading something from South Korea. You need to prove that you have a certain income level within a certain period of time in order to be granted a status for digital nomad. The same goes with Japan. What's your thought in this?
Yeah, totally agree. So I think like what you say is basic personal management, right? I think that's the kind of skill that you get when you move. Like for a lot of people, going to university is the first time they leave their house from their parents, and they need to learn how to take care of themselves, to go with a new pair of rules, like university house rules, or if you stay in dormitory, then you need to follow the dormitory rules, right? And then it is the same. I call this situational awareness. Like you have to be aware of what is the larger rules that are around you, like what you say, visa, cultural requirements, legal requirements, uh, and that is very, very important, because if you accidentally offended these rules, it can get you into very, very big trouble. So yeah, very important. And maybe as I was talking about it, it's like, yeah, maybe that's why people travel to different countries for university, because that experience itself, going to different country to attend university, will already help you to learn these skills, because you have to. And that's what student affairs office can do. Like, I think when I was in university, student affairs officers will also help to organize this kind of sessions.
The
To think
current focus, I think, is a lot on how to get yourself employed, at least within the UTM context.
okay.
How to properly prepare CV, etc., etc. But
I
then the
see.
subtleties that you highlight just now
Right.
is something that is lost in translation at the moment lah.
I see. Do y'all have internet like global immersion programs, like going to different universities for exchange?
Available, but to a very small group of students. And then it's also subject to courses, subject to program, subject to collaboration. But at least for our faculty, the immersion happens at the undergraduate level. If you choose, for example, to do your teaching practical abroad, there's an opportunity for that. So that opportunity is currently restricted on to Indonesia, but I'm not sure whether there's any future plans to expand it to other countries or not.
I see. Okay. Oh, you have a KL campus.
KL campus, yes. Pago campus, yes. Serving different functions.
I see. And students don't really go to another campus much.
Not really. Because JB campus is more of the academic component. KL campus academic component, but very concentrated at the postgraduate level. There are undergraduates, one faculty hosting it, the Japan MJIT. Yes, MJIT is the faculty that has a bit more flexibility and a bit more exposure lah, in terms of the immersion programs.
And what do students like in the main academic campus need to do if they are interested to take any subjects from that faculty?
The question, the baseline question to answer is what program are they attending? So is it a short-term study trip, 1 week or a few days off? Then requirements are different. If it is a exchange program for 1 semester, for example, or 2 semesters, then a different set of requirements. Hence, the students have to select which program or how long are they heading off and who's the partner, because these programs will involve on paper a certain kind of agreement that is already in existence with between the university and other universities.
Sounds to me like even though you say that there are very limited students who can do it, it is still possible.
It's possible. It's just a extra effort that you as a student / you as a lecturer who wants your students to attend these programs to make the move lah. It can be done.
Right. Okay. And they are arranged from a short study program to a long, like, semester.
Yes. So if it is a conference, then it's fairly straightforward. Just a few days kan. But if it is exchange level, then you need to look at, for example, percentage credit transfer. Is it accepted at both institutions? I think I've seen 2 responses in the chat.
Yeah, let us go to the chat. So Adlia said that as for me, the important things for the person's life are identifying personal values, what really is their goal for them to achieve for herself and for the future. As for the skills involved, maybe it consists of personal skills on how to manage their time, really, very much. Time management, social skill, which consists of communication and teamwork, including leadership. My suggestion for the intervention, oh wow, Adelia went through all 3 questions, very good. My suggestion for the intervention during the student stage is maybe we can do mentorship program, which they got guidance from professionals to set clear goals, as they currently here now, which is really help us for the future and keep track of our goal. I'm really glad to hear that, Adelia. Yes, setting clear goals is so important. I think a lot of people sometimes like, oh, I don't know what to say because I don't know what I want. But maybe set a small goal first. For this year, this is my hypothesis of the goal that I want to explore, and then you can review it and edit it later and improve it later. But yeah, goal setting is so important. And I really like what you say about managing your time and social skills. I was speaking to a British digital nomad who moved to Malaysia this year. And I want to share that story with you, Adelia. So he came here with his wife and a young baby, baby's called Ollie, and he's still like I think 1 year old maybe, not even 1 year old because he cannot walk yet. And I was like, oh, where have you visited around Malaysia yet? You are a digital nomad, you can go anywhere. And he told me that it is very important for me to remember not to travel all the time because I also have a job and I need to do my job and I also need to take care of my family to settle them instead of just thinking about travel every day. So I think when you say that, I think yes, it reminded me that how time management is really important to divide your time between travel, work, and family. Thank you. What do you think, Doria?
Agree. One thought that came to me when you were
Yes.
responding to Adlia's comment, um, and this is probably the fault of us at the university level in terms of planning. We tend to focus on the fancy stuff, like how do you hack your CV so that the machine can read through what you presented in the CV, kan? But it sometimes we forget the simple things like how do you block your time, how do you think about what matters most, goal setting. These are essential skills, but not fancy enough to feature it in a program. So that's why that remark comes in. We may want to help students solving the problem of now, but then there are certain timeless issues like time management, personal management, self-realization, that there are certain things that you need to do. In the case of the British nomad story that you mentioned, you want to play, but then you have mouths to feed at the end of the day. That is back to the basic skills that that we also need to highlight lah, and nurture among students, even at the master's level, I would say.
I totally agree with you, and maybe especially at master's level, because now you have a lot of skills, right? And you have a lot of ability. Then goal becomes more important because which way do you go really depends on which way you want to go. Like when you are younger, it's just about okay, let me learn all the skills, let me learn all the skills. And now at master's level, you have skills already, then goal setting becomes even more important. And you start to appreciate the value of goal even more because maybe last time you don't need like the goal is so clear to you, just learn.
Yeah. Learn, and then
Yeah.
if I may add on, finish whatever hoops that you need to jump, because at the degree level you just want to feature yourself to the best of ability, and you manage to jump through whatever hoops successes that you can feature, but then at the end, when and how can you come back to what really matters?
Yeah. Shall we go on to Aisha's?
Yeah. There's another feedback that Aisha, let me read. Thank you for sharing these insights. I find the idea of developing these skills and interventions very interesting. However, I noticed that not everyone has access, yes, to such opportunities, and not everyone around me has had similar experiences. Agree as well. For someone like me, this concept feels very new and different. Okay, this is the fundamental already. I think we're back to that fundamental issue. How can individuals or students who don't have these opportunities or support systems still work towards developing these important skills? What would you recommend? This is a question to you, Wansin. For those in less resourceful environments. Okay, she's working at the moment. Thank you for listening and checking in. So there's multiple levels of questions there. Probably you want to pick.
There
On.
are, there are, and I think they are really like very realistic. It is true. So I grew up in a small town. My town has only 40,000 people. It's very and they are around me. There are no fancy jobs like what I used to do. People are like pharmacists, like maybe the most fancy one is doctors, accountants, the very standard jobs. And it was very difficult for me when I was young to think about what I want to be because you take reference from your environment, like what you say, right? The environment has to be resourceful enough for you to know what resources are there to help. And it is very new. Like I did a lot of things which my parents didn't even understand. Like until today, okay, this I know we are going on you we are being recorded, but it's okay. My mom knows this, so my mom is still wondering like what is remote work, and she still asked me to re-explain like what is the startup that I am doing, because she find it very difficult to explain to her friends when her friends ask her what her daughter is doing. Yeah, so it can be tough to inspire, like to think about what you can do when you have no references around you. So I understand, and I came from the same environment. I think the one thing to still remember is, but there is something that we all have regardless of what our environment has, which is the ability to imagine. So we all can imagine what we want, even if it doesn't exist in our society yet. I still remember when I was a kid, I used to imagine the world destroying itself, like the end of the world. And what should I do? How should I tell people that I've existed in the world before? So we all have the power to imagine anything we want. So if I can imagine the end of the world, anyone can imagine what they want in their life, even if it is not available in the environment. So to remember, I think it's a belief that you can still imagine anything in your life is the first most important thing, and to believe in the power of imagination. And then with that imagination, just look out for any opportunity. So I didn't come from a very rich family. So when I travel, but I did an internship in Cameroon in Africa during my university life, and it cost me about 7,000 ringgit for the entire 3 months. Maybe some people don't think it's a lot of money, but it was a lot of money for me that time. And I didn't have that much money. Uh, but I also believe in finding that one opportunity, which is why I asked Doria just now, right? Doria, like, know what are is there program? Is it possible? It doesn't matter how many opportunities there are. If there is one opportunity, you should go for that opportunity. You don't have to wait until this become the norm before you take that. If you see one opportunity, just go and apply. Be that one person to get that. I was the only person in my town who got a scholarship to study in Singapore. Or maybe in the entire province, I was the first person in the province to get that scholarship. Does it matter if the possibility is very small? No, it doesn't matter. All it matters is you want it and you put in your best application. I did not get the scholarship in the first year when I applied. The first year I failed. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. I just apply again. So I think it becomes a very strong belief in myself that it does not matter how resourceful or unresourceful the society is. What matters is that one chance that you need is there, and then I put in all my best application for it, and go for it. So going back to my Cameroon story, right? So I didn't have the money. So what I did, I went to look at any foundations that provide grants for people that sponsors people to do anything. So there's no one grant that sponsors people to go to Africa to do an undergraduate internship. But I just wrote in a letter and say I am a good student. You should support me to fulfill my dream. And I got some money too. I think I got 4,000 ringgit to buy my flight tickets. Then I could afford 3,000 to do the rest. And then I just be very prudent in my living so that I could come back still. That's my contribution to you. I hope it helps you, Aisha. And tell me how you feel about it. Doria,
I
what do you
think, yeah, if I can look at Aisha's question, that is the reason why I'm bringing Wansin to the environment and to speak to everyone today, because currently I'm not so sure whether glorifying is the word to use, but then the main focus now is actually a job that you go with a certain amount of time, 9 to 5, and a fixed location. Remote working in particular breaks whatever that we understand about work. So exposure is key. The big question now is how do we tell our students that there is an alternative to this without demeaning or comparing which one is better. That's the other message that I think we need to highlight as well lah. Stable 9 to 5 jobs are good, but there's also an alternative for people with different accommodations required. So Aisha, I'm with you on that. I'm still discovering how to expose my students to this kind of not say future work. It's already here. And the government is already working towards how do we recognize and protect this group of people in terms of legal. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Aisha has responded. I think the response is for you. So
Yeah.
I'll let you read through briefly while asking the rest. Is there anyone else who would like to give input, ask questions? We are still talking about these 3 questions, but probably there's other things that come to you and you want to ask.
Yes, definitely. I'm open with any kind of thoughts, feelings, questions that you want to ask. Yeah, just take any opportunity that come your way and do your best. That's exactly what I did. Like anything that I see, I'll just do my best. Even if it's a small opportunity, even if it's not a very good opportunity, I'll just take it because it is a door to the next opportunity. And I think you got it right there. Shall we move to the next case? Well,
Yeah. Go ahead.
your students keep the questions and feelings coming. So this is another case. How do you start as a freelancer? So this is a question that came up to my group recently. Or remote work, how do you find it? I tried LinkedIn, doesn't work. So what do you think is important in this person's life? What skills are involved in order to help the person to have this thing in their life? And what interventions during student stage can help develop the skills? So I think maybe we can do the Doria, what do you think? While the students take the time to type or think before you raise your hand to process.
This question come to me a number of times this year because to put it mildly, I think there's a bigger world out there than being a lecturer in this university. And I'm open to do exploration. This is not a statement that anyone here can use to fire me after this. Just put it on caveat because this is on YouTube after this. So I would say, again, coming back to number 2, what skills are involved, even when you are already having a fixed job. What is it about you that you can market, or what is it that you are good? Good as in you're not the one claiming it's good, but then other people are saying it's good. So I've kind of figured out what is it, but then I haven't started like market it well enough. So I would say for number 2, 2 components in terms of skills involved. Skill number 1, realizing, I wouldn't say skill, the self-awareness that you have certain marketable skills that can be used as a complement for freelance job. And then the second skill is actually honing the particular skill that you have identified and putting yourself out there. So and yeah, if I can add number 3 while waiting for the rest to respond, have that guts to actually just apply, like you said just now. You never know. Put your CV or whatever message about yourself out there. So yeah, I'm bordering on rambling, but then that's my response to number 2.
Nice. You know, Dora, I feel like when you're talking about it, right? Just apply. And that's where, what you say earlier, right? The students affairs officers are very much focused on hacking CV, designing a right CV. This is exactly the reason why that is still important. What we say, time management, goal setting are very important. CV hacking is practical skill to get a job. And I learned so much. I benefited so much from a very, very good CV writing skill. I think it really helped me to put together something that is attractive, that help people to look at me as a professional in the right, like give people the right first impression about who I am even before they meet me. And it is because it is, you don't finding job itself is a skill. And okay, the next time I will remember to put up like all the messages that come to me from, because I run a social media, right? So right now people are coming to me and just say, "Hi ma'am, do you have any job?" How am I supposed to help you? You don't even tell me who you are, where you're from, what skills you have, and you just expect me to give you a job. Unfortunately, no, job doesn't happen this way. Or if it happens this way, all I can think of is, are you willing to wash my toilet? I'll pay you to wash my toilet because this is a job that I really need. But there's no way I can think about what to give to you if you just come in without introducing yourself, without telling me your profile. Hey ma'am, do you have any job? And I get this a lot, and I feel very sorry for them because I know they need a job, but unfortunately, it does not work that way. So yeah, Student Affairs Office should continue to run job search, career development workshops, because if you don't have that skill, it can be very frustrating that you see a job and you cannot be even interviewed for that job.
While at the same time, expanding the reach of the programs a little bit to accommodate unconventional careers pathways. I think a lot of the members in the remote work community, to all the students here, you can actually find this community online, Remote Work Malaysia, on Facebook. Yeah. So go and find it out, and then go through the comments, responses. Before you get help, you need to know what is it that you need in terms of help. So that's my response. Yeah, that one, Remote Work Malaysia.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, keep running, don't stop, and go beyond and help people to think about what else is there in the world. I think that's exactly what the Student Affairs Office can do for students. Do we have any comments from the students?
Yeah, it's a very quiet hall. Are you guys still around? Please don't let only the two of us talking in the session. For those who can and able to, probably you can like share your comments. Okay, I'm mindful of your time. Wansin, I think we have like spent around one plus hours already. So I'm not so sure what's your schedule after this, just to like help you time check.
Yes, I am aware of time, and I know you gave me 60 minutes and now we are at 72 minutes.
It's okay. Everyone in the session that I invited has exceeded the time, so it's okay.
Right, sure. I have one last one, but I think we can stop here. Yeah, but if any student would like to unmute yourself and interact with us, that will be the best thing that can help us to wrap up the session.
Yep. So guys, last chance. Anything that you want to ask, feedback, comments? So the whole point of this sharing today is more on telling you guys that there's a different world out there. Remote working, you can contribute and earn an income and probably get more in life, my arguments, through this alternative pathway rather than a 9-to-5 job. So from your point of view, anything that you want to ask, queries, take the opportunity to like share it with Wansin. Okay, I don't see any response, so probably they're still thinking. Wansin, with that, I think I want to stop here the session. Thank you so much, Wansin, for coming on board and sharing a lot from your life, from your passion, from your experience. How do you draw your experience and observations from the corporate side and leaping into your own startup? In fact, as I silently stopped the remote work group, I felt so proud of knowing you as the founder, co-founder, founder of this particular significant group, I would say. So, guys, please join me in giving virtual thank you, a clap to Wansin for her sharing today. Thank you so much, Wansin, for coming on board.
Can I have a final comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for all the claps. I can see it. Thank you. So I want to say that remote work is there are many remote work is just about where you work. You can work if you can work anywhere, then maybe you're a remote worker. It does. There are a lot of remote workers which do freelance or flexible time, but there are also a big group of remote workers who are doing 9 to 5. It's just that they don't need to work from the office, but they are still they still log in on their computer at 9 o'clock and they still finish out at 5 o'clock. So you can be an employee still even if you're a remote worker. And the second thing I want to say is corporate jobs. So I think today I presented to you alternative career, and I think this is important. At the same time, I also want to say I learned so much from my corporate life of 12 years. And one thing, I know we are going on record, and I just want to say that corporate life is great because it.
You want me to switch off the recording?
No, it's fine, it's
Okay,
fine.
all right,
No worries.
okay.
Yeah, corporate life is great because it pays you to learn. Because the best experience is the best teacher is experience. So when you do a corporate job, you get a lot of work experiences, and you get pushed to do the right thing, to do things properly, to write email properly, to manage your time. You are given goals, you're given responsibilities, and you have to fulfill them. So I learned so much from my corporate life, and without my corporate life, I wouldn't have gotten all the experiences that I have in order to do this today. So whichever path that you have, however kind of environment you have, there's always something that you can learn out of it. So I hope that you keep looking, and I hope you a very nice end of 2024 and have a great 2025. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Wansin. Guys, give a virtual acknowledgement again to Wansin for her time today. I'm very happy that our external session today, this year at least, ends with your session, because there's hope, there's rethinking certain goals, there's most importantly, from my point of view at least, it's the passion component. How you are very clear of what you like, and you went ahead and do it. So that's a lesson for a lot of us here. So thank you so much, Wansin. Let me stop recording.